Today we're talking about the first of 3 games, the Quest Probe series from Adventure International, one of the earliest Marvel licensing deals. Marvel Comics approached text-adventure pioneer Scott Adams, no, not the Dilbert guy, for a 10-year license to use their characters in his games. This was early in the licensing game for the comics company. They were approaching TSR at around the same time to license a Marvel tabletop RPG, but the choice to go with Adventure International was a strange one. It had been a pioneer of the genre, but aside from the addition of visuals, their games hadn't fundamentally changed or improved since 1979. They were lagging well behind companies like Infocom, and really going with text adventures for a comic tie-in at all was unusual given the dynamic visual nature of the medium. Adams, being a longtime Marvel fan, agreed and coordinated with comics writers John Byrne to plot out the games. They'd given him a great deal of creative freedom, even to the point of outlining a story to accompany each game that would be turned into a full-blown comic. They managed 3 before Adventure International went bankrupt in 1986. We're not going to be talking about the comics accompanying the games because none of the events occurring are referenced within the games or manuals themselves. So let's get started with the first Quest Probe game, Quest Probe, featuring the Hulk. The game comes with a playdisc and a manual, which proudly proclaims that the game features art by Mark Gruenwald and John Romita, 2 big names if you're a comics geek. The manual gives us something of an intro. The Quest Probe series is a unique adventure series that featured Marvel Comics characters and fantastic challenges that let you actually become your favorite Marvel superhero TM character. In the first Quest Probe adventure, you are the Hulk TM, controlling or losing control of the incredible strength of the Hulk, as well as the intellect of Dr. Robert Banner, the Hulk's alter ego. You'll meet the mysterious Chief Examiner, the overseer of the entire Quest Probe series. Although the storyline spans the entire 12-part Quest Probe series, each adventure is complete and separate, so you can collect and enjoy just your favorite Marvel superhero character or the entire series. Robert Banner? Isn't it Bruce? Well, yeah, his full name is Robert Bruce Banner, because Stan Lee would occasionally forget character names and started calling him Bob, so they declared that Bruce was his middle name and his first name is Robert. The manual goes on to explain how to load the game, how to play, what an adventure even is. Clearly this is targeted towards beginners, or at least meant to be accessible to comics fans who'd never played an adventure game before. We're also given some cool bios of characters we may meet in the game, like the Hulk, Ant-Man, Doctor Strange, Ultron, Nightmare, and the Chief Examiner. This last is a new character created for the series. The bios are kind of neat, the kind of things you'd find in one of those complete Marvel Handbook Atlas things they were putting out in the 80s. But let's go ahead and start the game. I'll be playing the Commodore 64 port, the version I first played as a kid, though there are also versions for the Apple II, Atari 8-bit, MS-DOS, and ZX Spectrum. I'm Bruce Banner, tied hand and foot to a chair. What shall I do? So, here we are. Bruce Banner, tied to a chair. Clearly, we want to Hulk out, but how are we going to manage that? The mechanics for becoming the Hulk have changed a lot over the years, but the best known, especially during the early 80s when the Hulk TV show was running, was getting angry. So let's try to Hulk out. I don't know how to Hulk something. Get mad. How? Be Hulk. I don't know how to be something. That's a common problem we can all share and empathize with. But how do we Hulk out? Well, those weren't any help. There are some commands in the manuals, but none of them really help when you're tied up. Let's try the help command. Maybe that'll give us some insight. Sorry, I can't do that, but ask for a Scott Adams hint book at your favorite store. So it just flat out suggests we buy a hint book. Now, I figured this out in the late 90s when I was playing the game somehow, but the way to Hulk out is to bite your lip. Ouch, I scream, I'm the Incredible Hulk TM now. Rope breaks. And we get our cool little transformation secret. Gas! Some gas fills the room and permeates my skin. I'm Bruce Banner now. What shall I do? And we're Banner again, but at least we're not tied up at the moment and we can look around. I see nothing special, except I'm in a dome, mirror, broken chair, gem, metal hand fan, large iron ring set in the floor, sign, east. So I do like the fact that it's multicolored here. The dark purple is just the general response to the command. There's nothing special here, except the green text appears to be the location text, what the area is. It's in a dome. The purple text appears to be all of the items that are present: the mirror, the chair, the gem, metal hand fan, large iron ring set in the floor, and the sign. And the green text, of course, is what exits exist. So let's go ahead and read the sign. Maybe this will give us some context for as so far we have none. We woke up in a chair. We don't know how we got there. We don't have any clue as to what happened immediately before this. We just sprang into existence from nothingness as Banner tied to the chair. This computer model has been created so that you will learn how to perform as the Hulk. To prove you can supply the brains as well as the control of the Hulk's brawn, you must collect all the gems and store them into the proper location. Good luck. So that didn't really help us very much. Are we actually in a simulation? Are we Banner running a Hulk sim? It's not really clear, but our goal is apparently to collect gems. Let's get the stuff that's in the room, first of all. And get all as a command is not something that's going to work. I don't think. Yeah, I don't know what all is. So, again, it's a very primitive parser, so we have to get each item once at a time. And every time we do so, even though the item isn't on the screen, it's going to redraw the screen just in case. So a little time-saving tip, we can hit I think it's Z. Yeah, and that'll get rid of the graphics and it'll load spend less time loading the screen. There's still that like half a second of lag, and I don't know if that's inherent to the system or just like added to give you some pacing, but it's kind of annoying. All right, we got the fan, we got the chair, we got the mirror. Let's check our inventory. Mirror fan, mirror, broken chair, gem, metal hand fan. And we'll turn the graphics back on. I wanted to show you something with the inventory. When you check your inventory, it actually takes you to a screen of Bruce holding a sack and emptying out all of the things he has. And you actually do see on the screen here all of the items that you've collected. So that's kind of neat, if irrelevant. All right, so let's look at the ring. Okay, this just gives us a close-up. There's no actual written description of what we're looking at. So just to be clear, this is a ring set into the floor and not like the kind of ring you wear. Oh, and it just gave us the look command again as well, just, for funsies. All right, let's get out of here. I think that's everything we can do here. I'm in a tunnel going outside. Sign, button in wall, west OK. And nothing special. I did type look because sometimes there will be objects that you won't notice until you type look. And that's terrible game design, but it's just a quirk of the Scott Adams' adventures. Let's read the sign. It looks like it just said warning, but that may be a limitation of the resolution. Okay, I see warning, high grav ahead. So that is a puzzle. If we go outside into the high gravity, outside the dome, it will kill Banner. So we need to Hulk out by biting our lip. Ouch, I scream. I'm the Incredible Hulk now. Some gas fills the room and permeates my skin. I'm Bruce Banner now. What shall I do? And I'm glad it's not giving us the entire transformation sequence again, because that would take a lot of time. But this game, the Hulk, actively thwarts your attempts to be the Hulk. This is the best that Scott Adams, one of the pioneers of adventure genre, could come up with. Let's go ahead and push the button. Okay, voice says delay on. And this basically gives us one turn to act before we're turned back into banner. So we're going to get moving. To get out, we have to go out. We can't just keep going east. It'll tell us we can't go that way because, again, that's how this game was designed. I'm in a field, large dome, gem, north, south, east, west. What shall I do? Well, out in the fresh air, there's no danger from the gas, so we can chill here as the Hulk, doing Hulk stuff like collecting gems and not being crushed by high gravity. This is a very early adventure conceit. By the way, collecting the gems, the treasure hunt, found in the Zork games and early Adventure International titles. Let's go ahead and get the gem. Get gem. Okay, again, redraw the screen. I'd like to say that the gems are cleverly hidden by puzzles a smart player could intuit, but they really aren't. Something here. I'm in a field, large dome, gem, north, south, east, west. That's right, there is a gem under the dome. Sure, I'll buy that the Hulk is strong enough, but why would we even try to lift it? Because it's an adventure game, and it might be one of the 100 or so verbs you try and manipulate every object with. So was that puzzle too oblique? Well, get a load of this. That's right, we can dig a hole in the middle of this otherwise uninteresting field. Dig is not a command that appears in the manual, so you would have to randomly try to dig in an adventure game. Okay, I'm in a hole, up. There's no art of the Hulk in the hole, but I do kind of dig the floating head and word bubble. And what do we do now that we're in the hole? Well, we dig again. And there's our next gem, just in the middle of the field, down a hole that we have to dig twice. How would we find this? Why? Well, buy the hint book and find out. I'm in a warp. I'm in a fuzzy area. Sign. And we're in some kind of weird otherworldly space filled with weird space objects. Okay, I see leave gems here, score. So that's what we need to do. Drop our gems here. Can we drop all of our gems? No, we have to basically drop them one at a time and wait for the game to redraw the screen. Even though nothing has changed, we'll just drop out of the art. I don't remember how many I have, so I'm just going to keep dropping till it makes me stop. All right, there we go. And our score. Scored 4 treasures. They couldn't even customize, as I say, gems, could you? Scale of 0 to 100, that's 23. So we've collected a bunch of gems. Now, as we leave this place, we end up in a random location in the game. And when we leave the random location, we end up back in the fuzzy place. And that's it. That's the map, essentially. If there's a lazier way to plot out an adventure game, I don't know what it is. I'm in a room with the chief examiner working behind a desk. He doesn't notice me. Door. And we've ended up into an office. How? Why? Maybe it's a joke. It kind of adds to the feeling of unreality that the game is giving us, which is fine. It's cohesive in its lack of cohesion, but I don't know if trippy dreamscape is the best use of a character like the Hulk. Alright, gem, door, I see something. So by looking at the desk, we notice the gem on top of it, which again, I guess counts as a puzzle. And that's all we have to do here. We can't interact with the examiner in any way, so let's get out. Chief Examiner notices me and says, "How did you get out of the computer? I'm not ready for you yet. No matter, be gone." And we are back in the fuzzy area. Drop the gem. All right, we're going to keep going, wandering through the world aimlessly until we get to another field. It kind of looks like the first one, but without those weird towers, because I don't feel like dealing with those yet. Here we go. It looks like the first field we were in, but it isn't because, well, there's no hole. But the game's world space is just this series of domes, some of which have unique features to them. And despite whatever unique features they may have, the gems are hidden in the exact same way. There's a gem here. We're going to get it. We're going to lift the dome. We're going to get... Oh, this time we get an art of the Hulk lifting the dome. I wonder why we didn't get that the first time. But there we go. We're going to get that gem too. And we are going to dig. Again. And we're going to dig as deep as we need to, because typing dig over and over again is gameplay. I wonder if this is random or if there's a set number of times you have to dig, but we do find a gem. And we jump back out. Now, where these fields differ is that they usually have a single puzzle. And this really serves to drive home the fact that the gems hidden under each dome or buried in the ground are really filler content. I would say, if you must include them at all, because they're both very non-intuitive, just include one of each. But without hints that you want to dig or lift the domes, they're really not even great as one-off puzzles. All right, this dome appears to have a grate in a wire mesh in the side. Let's go in. Okay, instead of the ring, here we have wax, killer bees, wire mesh in the wall with bee-sized holes. And these killer bees will kill Banner, so let's not hang out here. We turn back into the Hulk, go out, and we're in a field with a large dome, etc. Let's check our inventory again. Okay, we have a couple gems, we have our mirror, we have that hand fan, which is an Asian-style folding fan. So let's go ahead and wave it. You wouldn't think that wave is a verb in this game like this, but it is. Again, this is a very primitive parser, normally just verb-noun commands. But if we need to use something with, say, a preposition and another noun, then it will give us a prompt like this. So we are going to wave it at the dome. There we go. I sent a gale at it. So, It's not very evocative text, but basically picture the Incredible Hulk with a tiny little human-sized hand fan waving it so strongly that it sends a gale of wind towards the dome. Okay, the bees are gone now. The waving the fan did enough to get rid of them, so we can get the wax. And this time it does actually disappear from the screen, which is nice. Go back east. Bite our lip. Close our eyes. And go out before we turn back into Banner. Alright, back, and we'll drop all of our gems. No, not get. All right, we have 8 gems. That's 47 out of 100 points so far. And now we're looking for the... All right, I'm in a field, a large dome, tiny holes, gem. So those are not holes, despite it telling us that they are. Those are clearly spires or towers. They are anthills, believe it or not. Let's get the gem. Alien army ants have appeared, and they swarm from the holes. And they will kill us, even though we are the Hulk, in a particularly gruesome manner. So let's not mess with that. It's one of those, it's another spend more than one turn here and you die puzzles that this game seems to love a lot. So let's just get away from them and drop our gem. Till we get back to the anthill. And that's really the way around this puzzle, is to reset the counter by leaving and coming back again and again and again. We're going to use our single turn here to dig a hole. The ants show up, but thankfully they won't follow us into the hole for whatever reason. So we can just dig down and get our gem. We jump out. The ants are still here, but we do have one turn to escape. All right, we lift the dome. The ants show up. Again, the mighty Hulk needs to run away from the ants, so even this simple lifting puzzle becomes more obnoxious with the extra required steps. The repetition is really unnecessary and makes the game more of a chore. Having to deal with the ants once or twice would be far more than enough. All right, we go into the dome, and we are in a tunnel going out. There's a sign. I want a gem here, so I'm going to get that gem. We go west, and there's another gem. Nothing... nothing else really in this room, but let's try to Hulk out. I scream, I'm the Incredible Hulk. I'm in a dome. Astral projection of Doctor Strange. That's new. I see something. I see Doctor Strange point to baseboard. Some gas fills the room and permeates my skin. I'm Bruce Banner now. So this is kind of a weird one. According to the game's manual, the Hulk has the ability to see astral forms, and this is true. Back in the 70s, the Hulk would occasionally have the power to see ghosts or astrally projected figures, with no real reason given as to why. It didn't even let me finish typing. It just had to accept the parsed phrase, and then continue on the next line. I'm in a dome, small gas outlet. Examine outlet. And there it is. It's a pipe, I guess. I see it's just a hole. A lot of holes in this game. So we are going to plug the outlet with what? Use wax. With the wax we got from the bees. Okay. Now when we bite our lip, astral projection of Doctor Strange, plugged gas outlet. Now when we bite our lip, we can see our friend Doctor Strange here, without immediately reverting to Banner. Talk Strange. Doctor Strange says, remember your worst enemy nightmare. Okay. Remember. Remember to spell remember. Remember night. The Incredible Hulk TM very mad. And this is basically the way to supercharge our transformation to the Hulk by remembering Nightmare and thus getting stronger, because that's what the Hulk does. Does this make sense? Is Nightmare, another weird Marvel magic villain, a particular arch nemesis of the Hulk? Well, yes. Around the time this game came out, there was a storyline in which Nightmare was tormenting Banner to make him lose control of the Hulk. So it's a very of its era reference that would have made more sense to comic fans at the time. Strange says, look for Scott's next Marvel adventure at your favorite store. Enough said. Arcane energies blaze, and he vanishes. Doctor Strange, ladies and gentlemen. And he dropped a gem when he left. So let's get the gem. And we'll get the wax, because we'll probably need it again. And the gas, as soon as we get the wax, the gas fills the room, and we are going to be Banner soon. We're back to Banner. Bite our lip. And we're the Hulk. Ants are still here, so we're going to go east. And we are going to drop our gems. All right. We have stored 14 gems. We have 82 out of 100 points. So we're getting close to the end of the game. And we want to head back to the first dome we started from. Is this it? I don't know, because it might be the B dome. So let's examine dome. Okay, so there's no mesh in this one, meaning it is the first dome. Yep, there's the button. Let's try pulling the ring. Sorry, won't budge. Alright, well, we can't turn into the Hulk because we are still in the area that with the gas that turns us instantly. So we're going to go back east. Bite our lip. We are the Hulk currently, but now we're going to remember Nightmare again. Making us very mad as we have a thought bubble with ourselves fighting the weird villain Nightmare. And this will give us a few more turns as the Hulk, despite the gas. And we have opened a hole in the floor, as you can see. And we're back to being Banner. You know, we do more biting of our lip in this game than in the worst written romantic fanfic. All right, now we're back in the fuzzy place. We're going to remember Nightmare. And this time, we're going to go north. Which brings us to a different area. We are in an underground room. There is a matter energy, or is that a natter energy egg, and a biogem, which is different from a normal gem in some manner. There's a hole in the ceiling. The egg pulsates. The gas fills the room. And it looks like scratches on the wall. We're going to eat the egg. Remember Nightmare to prevent us from changing back into Banner. We're going to have to keep doing it like every other turn. Because again, it's one of those puzzles where we have one turn to act and we have to do something very repetitive. The wall has some scratch marks on it. Gas fills the room. I'm going to scratch the wall where it's already scratched. And somehow this opens up a crack in the floor. I don't get the why, but again, it's that whole early adventure. You do something else completely unrelated seems to happen. Get mad again. And we're going to go into the crack, which doesn't look like we would have been able to fit, but there we are. We're in a cavern, crack in the rock, gem, Ultron, small cage, some gas fills the room. Now, let's get the gem. And we are Banner. Ultron seems content to ignore us, thankfully. Examine cage. Oh, it's Ant-Man. This is the, not the Scott Lang Ant-Man, it's the Hank Pym Ant-Man, because it is the 80s, early 80s. Go in the crack. Go in the hole. We're going to ignore the gem for now. And this brings us back to our dome. All right, with 15 gems, we have an 88 out of 100. And now we're going to do one of the most annoying puzzles in the game. At least it's annoying to figure out. But we need to stop. We need to get rid of Ultron. We need to save Ant-Man. And to do that, we are going to do a few things. First of all, we're going to hold our nose. Plug our ears. What are we going to use? Use wax. Then we are going to go find those ants again, however long it takes us. Here we are. And this has to one of those sequences that you have to do exactly right, or you will die, basically. Although death in this game isn't very permanent. All right, we're just going to waste a turn while the ants come out. Close our eyes. Too dark to see. Ants attack, but find no opening. I can imagine that, we've got our eyes closed, we've got our nose held, we've got our mouth shut, we've got our ears plugged with wax. I can think of another opening or two there, Hulk, but I guess we're wearing our indestructible purple pants that the ants are unable to penetrate. We are going to get the ants. I try to picture this. We have collected the ants. In fact, let's look at our inventory. Oh, we can't do that because we don't have we have our eyes shut. All right, but I wanted to see an inventory just filled with these giant alien ants. The game can't even give me that. We're going to go east. Dangerous to move in the dark. It's too dark to see. But we've gone back to the fuzzy area. We're going to go north, back to the underground. And we are in the underground area. We're going to go into the... And we're Banner. Better hurry, because those ants will kill us. Fortunately, we can just jump into that crack. And before the ants can kill us, Ant-Man-controlled ants sneak up on Ultron, then free Ant-Man. He leaves something. How do we know? Our eyes are closed. Maybe and our ears are plugged with wax. We have no way to perceive what's happening. But we open our eyes, and we're in the cavern. And there's gems here. Go back in the crack. Get the bio gem. I guess we didn't really have a... Yep, we have the bio gem and the gem. Drop our gems. Check our score. Chief Examiner appears and says, "Save this password. Aria." I think those are all the gems in the bio gem, which is much larger than the others on his desk. Stored 17 treasures. That's 100 out of 100. You won. And that's it. That's the game. So what do we have here? Well, we have some very bad puzzle design, first of all. A lot of this is non-intuitive, and a lot of it was filler. You really didn't need to have all of these extra gem puzzles, and really coming up with puzzles that are so oblique that when you ask for help, it tells you to buy the hint book. I mean, I get that a lot of companies were making more money on the books than on the games due to piracy, but that's still pretty shady. It was also a terrible use of the Hulk. We didn't do a lot of hulky kind of stuff other than being vaguely strong enough to lift domes. not what I would think of just in terms of the character and his story, throwing him into some kind of weird, I don't know, computer simulation dreamscape. It's not very good. There was basically, although a few different characters appeared, there was only really one character you could interact with, Doctor Strange, and he was very expository in nature. So not a lot of interaction. The game is very repetitive, a lot of wandering through random directions, trying to find the right scene to be in to progress with the puzzles. Environmentally, there was no environmental storytelling. None of this mattered because it's all some weird simulation. I would say this is just a terrible start for the series in general and not a very good game on its own. This did not need Marvel licensing in any way. It didn't need to be the Hulk, and yet here we are. This is the best use for the Hulk that Scott Adams could come up with, and that's kind of sad. But there you have it, everybody. Quest Probe the Hulk. Thanks for watching. Next time, I will go ahead with the next game in this series, Quest Probe featuring Spider-Man, and hopefully that won't be as much of a weird, colossal disappointment.